In this video, I'm going to show you how to place the front wheel hub and bearing assembly on this Dodge Ram 1500. It's located right behind your front brakes. Let's get started. Using a 22mm socket, remove all 5 lug nuts and then remove the wheel. This truck has aftermarket wheels and lug nuts, so this setup looks a little bit different, but the same procedure applies. Remove the wheel. On the back side of the caliper, where it bolts onto the knuckle, you'll see 2 21mm headed bolts. Let's remove both of these, pull the caliper off the rotor, and hang it with a hook to the side. That way it doesn't pull on the brake hose and damage it. Now you can remove your rotor. And with a 36mm socket, remove your axle nut. Make sure the axle isn't stuck in the hub and it'll push through. Mine moves and that's perfect. If yours does not, you want to use a punch and a hammer right in the center here and drive it through. Let's unplug the ABS sensor. Right up behind the fender liner, you'll have this retainer that if you pop out and pull down, you'll find your ABS wire connector. Use a pocket screwdriver to pry the red locking tab out of place, basically sliding it up. Sometimes these get really stuck due to sand and debris buildup in here. There we go. And now you can press on this and unplug the sensor. Sometimes you can help it out by going in with the pocket screwdriver from the other side. There we go. Unclip the wire from all other retainers. And this is a personal preference, but I like to wrap it around the wheel hub. That way it doesn't dangle and get in my way as I continue removing this. Next, let's separate the upper ball joint from the knuckle with a 21mm socket. Remove this mounting nut, and then we'll tap it apart. I'm putting this mounting nut back just a couple threads so that when I separate this, it will stop it and then I can remove it the rest of the way. This being an aluminum knuckle, I don't want to use a steel hammer on it, so first I'm going to try a dead blow rubber mallet and tap right here. If that doesn't work, we'll have to use a ball joint separator that presses it up and out of the knuckle. Hold the control arm down, unthread the mounting nut the rest of the way, and separate the two. Push the axle through and pull the knuckle down. Doing all of this will give us access to the back side of the knuckle with the axle pushed far back enough so we can get our 18mm socket on the 3 mounting bolts that hold the wheel bearing and hub onto the knuckle. That's one of them right there at the top, and the other 2 are at the bottom. You can see them a little bit less, but you can definitely reach them. So that we can remove the hub easier, I'm going to put the ball joint back into the knuckle. I'm using a pry bar to help me push this down. And I'm going to secure it with the mounting nut. That way it stays on here. Now use a large hammer, tap it side to side until it comes right out. There it is. We have to clean this surface. Be careful, it's aluminum. You don't want to chew through the material, but you do want to remove all of this corrosion. So if yours isn't as bad, you could use a sanding block with some fine grit sandpaper and just sand it all down, or you could use a file. Whatever you do, keep this nice and flat and don't remove too much material. I'm also going to go on the inside here and clean things up so the new bearing can mount properly. Once you're done cleaning, rinse it off with some brake parts cleaner, and once that dries, we'll coat it with some anti-seize, that way it doesn't corrode in the future. Take your new wheel bearing assembly. On the back side, I put my backing shield on. I know there's not much left to it, but it does act as a spacer so that this can be properly spaced out from the hub. So I'm going to put it on regardless. Line it up with the splines on the axle. Make sure the ABS wire faces towards the front of the truck and slide it in all the way. Disconnect the upper ball joint nut again so we can separate them and bolt on the wheel bearing. Now from the back side, try to line up your bolts and start them in. Torque these to 134 foot-pounds. All right, now push the knuckle up, slide the axle through the hub, line up the ball joint with the knuckle, with a pry bar, push this down, and once this is fully seated, put the mounting nut back on the ball joint stud. Torque this to 40 foot-pounds. Let's put our axle nut back on, snug it up. Torque this to 185 foot-pounds. Use a pry bar in between the lug studs of the hub to prevent it from spinning. That way you can torque it a lot easier. All right, that's it. Apply anti-seize to the surface of the hub to prevent corrosion from building up in the future. The hat of the rotor, where it mounts on the hub, for me is a little bit rusty, so I'm going to take a sanding disc and sand this down nice and clean, then I'll put it on. Now install your rotor. Take the caliper, mount it back over the rotor. Start in the two mounting bolts. Snug these up. Torque these bolts to 130 foot-pounds. Resecure your ABS wire. This one doesn't have the rubber grommet that goes in here, but this will hold. And resecure it on the control arm. Then you'll want to plug this back in. Make sure it clicks and it's locked in. Lock it, and then clip it on the back side of the fender liner. Make sure that tab pokes through, just like that. Let's get the wheel back on. Put on all 5 lug nuts, bottom them out in a cross pattern, and also in a cross pattern. We'll torque them to 130 foot-pounds. Double check them. And that's installed.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.